Now we have jury consultant and attorney Alan Tuerkheimer. So, Alan, set the scene for us a little bit. How does a jury begin deliberations in a case like this? How do they just really kind of get started and into the meat of this?
As you can imagine, they are incredibly eager to finally talk about this case. It's been 6 weeks, 22 witnesses, openings, closings, everything in between, and they're not able to talk about the case on breaks. They know each other. They probably know what the other fellow jurors do for a living, about their kids, their family, but nothing about the case. So what typically happens when jurors start to deliberate, and like Ellie said, we do not know, it's the jury's fiefdom and nobody's in there. We can't know for sure. But what I've typically seen in mock jury deliberations and talking to jurors after verdicts, once they get in, they just unburden themselves. They just start talking about the case. They talk about what they liked. Oh, this witness was persuasive. Oh, did you see what the defense lawyer was talking about during his closing, or any aspect that struck them? Or some might just come in and say, well, I really think he's guilty, or I really think he's not guilty. And then after some semblance of this cathartic process happens, then usually there's an initial poll taken just so jurors get a lay of the land and they have a bit of a roadmap in terms of what they're going to do. And at this point, leaders emerge, personalities play a prominent role in how the jurors proceed through the verdict form. But it's so fascinating and it's exciting. And hopefully after the verdict, we'll get to hear from the jurors to hear how it went down. But that's typically how jurors receive a case, and there's no doubt they want to get it right, and they're ready to deliberate.
That's so interesting that they kind of just do a download because, as you said, they haven't been able to talk about this. The jury instructions, did anything stand out to you? Was there anything in them that you think really may have impacted the jury, or not really?
You know, there was that part about Michael Cohn where you can't just, I think it said something along the lines of convicting based on his testimony alone. That was a little strange, but nothing really stood out. It seemed pretty typical of these New York pattern instructions. Of course, this is not a typical case, but that's what judges do. They spend time reading the law, jurors listen to it. And in this case, what's somewhat unusual, it's not that uncommon, but jurors, that's it. They don't have the law with them. And so if you think about it, the law is pretty complex. And for at least 10 of the jurors, minus the 2 lawyers, yeah, it's ambiguous, it's new information. So they'll probably spend some time seeking clarification, whether or not they ask the 2 lawyers for clarification or they actually send a note to the judge.
Well, Alan, let me ask you about that, because as you said, they don't have the law with them. They do have the 2 lawyers with them. And that's really interesting that you said they might kind of lean on the expertise of the lawyers instead of, if they didn't have the lawyers, they might be sending a question to the judge. Talk a little bit more about the dynamics of having these 2 attorneys on the jury and whether that could be really influential.
There's certainly examples of where lawyers get on juries and they just let it play out. They don't want the role to be magnified, and maybe they just take a back seat. But I think generally, for the most part, lawyers will they'll be the authority in the jury. And whether or not they insert themselves during the discussion, if jurors have a question about the law, well, who are they going to ask? They're going to ask the lawyers that are sitting right there on the jury, and they'll defer to them on questions of the law and maybe even some of the other aspects of the case that they're deliberating on. Now, what's really interesting is there are 2 lawyers on the case, on the jury. So with 1 lawyer, well, you can say, all right, that lawyer might have an outsized role, but with 2 of them, what if they disagree, or one of them thinks guilty and not guilty at some point? That it'll be really interesting to see. And certainly, no question, you want every single juror on your side, but if you're prosecution or the defense, you really want these 2 lawyers on your side during the deliberation.
Yeah, no doubt. You make me want to be in that room. I want to be a fly on the wall. Alan Tuerkheimer, thank you so much. We appreciate your insights.
Thanks, Brianna.